Getting split ready.
Getting split ready.
For my wife, God rest her soul.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry.
No, she's not dead. We're just divorced.
Unscripted and honest discussions on divorce and separation.
Getting split ready.
What was I supposed to tell him? I divorced you from the show?
Here's your hosts, Doug Katz and Mariah Pleasant.
Hey, it's Doug Katz and Mariah Pleasant with another episode of Getting Split Ready. On the phone with us tonight, the person who literally wrote the book on divorce mortgage lending, Jody Bruns. Her book is A House Divided. She also founded the Divorce Lending Association, which is the organization that provides certified divorce lending professionals their certification. So, Jody, thanks for joining us. And what the heck is a certified divorce lending professional?
Divorce lending professional, or the acronym CDLP, is a mortgage professional who can do obviously any type of mortgage planning for you. But the key aspect for a CDLP is they're actually trained in certain aspects of family law, tax law, real estate, and obviously mortgage financing, where divorce and real estate are both present. You know, it's never going to be your traditional mortgage application or process. So really, you know, a CDLP, they're much more than just that vehicle that's going to provide the mortgage financing, whether it's refinancing a marital home or making sure that both parties are prepared to purchase a home, again, after the divorce is final.
Jody, how does someone become a CDLP? Do they have to have a certain amount of experience or credentials? There's no time limit within the mortgage industry. They do have to be an active licensed or registered loan originator through the NMLS and whatever required state licensing there is. I will tell you that of all our CDLPs right now, we've got a great mix of veteran mortgage professionals that are CDLPs. I think the average years of experience in the mortgage industry we have right now are 16 years. We also have a really good mix, too. I think it's 47 to 57% women to men. So we're not, really involved with your rookie loan officers. You know, when you think about it, when you have a mortgage professional who has a strong interest in the opportunities, you know, to be of service to people going through a divorce, we're really attracting the veterans out there. So they're able to bring a lot of experience, plus all the new knowledge that they're getting through our certification program to really be a huge value add to that divorcing client and the professional divorce team.
Well, Jody, in kind of introducing yourself, you said that there's never like an average divorce mortgage application. What are some of the things people have to think about when they're trying to figure out what to do with their home during a divorce?
Well, the first thing is to never assume, right? We all know that. But you should never assume that mortgage financing is ever going to be the same as it was for you in the past before you're going through the divorce. There's timing issues, there's income issues, there's obviously new marital debt issues. You know, so the biggest thing to really make sure that you're prepared for, you know, this new mortgage financing basically journey, you know, and your first thing you have to do is you need to talk to a CDLP, because that CDLP needs to be involved during the divorce process very early on, because they're going to be able to recognize hurdles that you're going to face. They're going to be able to suggest, you know, required verbiage within that divorce settlement agreement to make the mortgage process much easier for you. You know, so you never want to go through your divorce and agree to refinance a house or sell your marital home thinking that you can just purchase another one after, because without talking to a CDLP, because once that divorce is final, we have to deal with the cards that are dealt. And that's usually when you don't have the income qualifications or, you know, just straight mortgage financing requirement or, you know, qualifications to get financing. You know, so that's the biggest hurdle, is putting your head in the sand and just thinking that it's just going to be like all your past experiences getting a mortgage. It's not the same.
And we hear that all the time, right? We hear, my divorce decree or my marriage settlement agreement says I have 18 months. Why don't I wait that long?
Right. Why not? Well, what do you mean?
Well, no, I mean, I guess I was kind of talking rhetorically, but it was more, people look and they're like, I've got all this time. Why don't I wait until the end? And they're really not thinking through some of the, I guess, potholes in the road. We're in Chicago, so that's near and dear to our heart coming out of winter. What are some of the big mistakes that you see people make?
Well, number one is the assumption, again, assuming that you have to do it. The biggest hurdle we face is any time that borrowing spouse has to, refinance the marital home, they're not given, an open timetable as to when they can get it done. Usually in every divorce settlement agreement or separation agreement, there's a timeline done, right?
Yep.
And sometimes it says you have to refinance in 45 days, 90 days or something. Well, if income that's to be used for your mortgage qualifying purposes is part of the divorce, like we're talking about maintenance, alimony, or child support, there's specific requirements that have to be met. For instance, if you're utilizing either child support or maintenance as your income to qualify, you have to meet certain requirements. So on average, you have to be able to show 6 months of receipt of that maintenance or child support in order for it to be utilized or thought of as qualified income. And additionally, you not only have to show 6 months of receipt, you have to show it's going to continue for 3 years. Now, many times maintenance is only awarded for 36 months, your 3 years. So if you have to wait for 6 months to show receipt and you were only awarded maintenance for 3 years, you're not going to meet that 3 years continuance. Therefore, we're not even going to be able to use that income for mortgage qualifying purposes. So that big assumption, again, is out there. It's like, well, you know what? I have $5,000 a month coming in from income. I've got child support. I've got maintenance. I have, my new employment. And when we're looking at it, we're chunking down that income where that money might, come down to $2,000 a month. And we all know you're not going to qualify for a mortgage back there, or anywhere based off of $2,000. So the biggest mistake is assuming, again, that everything's the same. It's not. And we look at things completely differently when it's a divorce situation.
I want to go back a little and ask you how you got into this niche and why you created the Divorce Lending Association. Why was it important to you?
Well, it was obviously a personal experience. I went through a divorce many years ago. And so basically, through my own pain, I was able to, create a passion, basically. And I quickly realized that after my divorce, I had a great opportunity to make an impact on, other clients that were going through divorce. And how it even, kind of got me in the, smacked me upside the head, if you will. I had real estate and mortgage financing involved in my divorce situation. And I saw so many mistakes that were being made, and I quickly realized that there was such a disconnect between family law, tax law, real estate, and mortgage financing. And, it's very interesting how all of these pieces, once you really start learning it, how connected they are and how each piece overlaps into each other. But the bigger issue is that disconnect. So after my divorce was final, and I was very thankful that I already knew what I knew at the time because it, saved me a lot. But it quickly dawned on me how many other divorcing clients had to have gone through this exact same situation. So I actually went back to my office that day, and I started pulling out all of my previous files where I knew divorce was present. And I started looking at all the divorce settlement agreements, the separation agreements. And you could just see this pattern where there was a lack of understanding, for instance, from the attorney side, that they don't understand the requirements of mortgage financing, yet they're writing into these divorce settlement agreements, you have to refinance within this amount of time, and if you don't, the home is going to be sold. Well, how fair is that? These divorcing clients think, okay, well, I can just go out and apply for a mortgage. It doesn't work that way, especially when we have to utilize maintenance or child support. So I just became a student of the industry. I researched family law, tax law, real estate, and everything that has to do with mortgages from a whole divorce perspective. And that's where I just kind of, again, drew the strength out of my own pain and created the Divorce Lending Association, because there was no training platform at all for the mortgage industry to really get mortgage professionals ready to work with divorcing clients. So the CDLP has been in existence for 5 years this year. And we are almost right at 500 loan officers across the nation and in 40 states. So I'm super, super proud of it. It's one of those ongoing things. And we're constantly updating the program and keeping every CDLP updated and educated, because our whole goal is not to create, a divorce lending practice or an opportunity for the mortgage professional, to build their business stronger. Our whole mission and the whole point of this is to help that divorcing client go through this terrible time. But when it's over, we want them ready to move on with their life and be able to, refinance that home or buy a new home to start creating new memories in.
Well,
So
it's interesting.
I'm really proud of it.
We actually created, when we were creating Split Ready, which, this is the podcast for, we made that a prerequisite of our divorce mortgage professionals because of that. So we're definitely believers as well. The house is obviously something that emotion is tied to, and lending is all about numbers. How do you and what do you see with that emotional attachment when sometimes you can't refinance? You've been talking about ways to refinance, but sometimes it can't happen. So what in your model, how do you manage that piece?
Well, there's a lot of times where it can't happen. And, that's an unfortunate thing. We can't bend the rules, right? Or we can't just snap our fingers and create, the credit improvements or so forth. But and it's unfortunate too, but it's understandable, when you have the marital home, you're right, it's full of emotion. There's maybe kids that were raised there, and all you can think of were these happier times that some divorcing clients, they just want to, hold on to. But, from our perspective, we have to really make sure that we're there as a financial neutral. We're not, trying to persuade them one way or the other, but there's often times where we have to say, okay, I understand the emotional attachment, but we need to set that aside, and we need to look at this from a business perspective. Let's just concentrate on the numbers. And here's the numbers if you were to qualify. You can't afford this mortgage payment. We're not going to be able to qualify for it. And then you have to kind of talk them down. Wouldn't it be better to, move into a smaller home, one where you're not going to be house poor? Because we never want our clients to be house poor, right? We want them to really be able to enjoy this new house and not have any regrets at all. And a lot of times I see where, it's usually the wife, they are more attached to this house. And sometimes they're more attached to the house because of the kids. They think, well, I've already disrupted their lives enough. I don't want to pull them out of the house. Well, like I said, I went through divorce. I had 5 young kids, and I understand, what it's like to disrupt their lives. But we have to make sure that these, divorcing clients who have to let go of that marital home, they understand that kids are resilient. And sometimes we have to take off our mortgage hat and really show that empathy we have for that divorcing client, and make sure that they understand it's okay to let go of that marital home. Let's downsize. Let's just pull it back in and get control, because, through the divorce process, they lose a lot of control. They think they have no control over anything anymore. And it's our business to not only help them with the financing, but again, set them up for success. And if that means, hey, let's just put a Band-Aid on this, move into a rental home, let's downsize and, recuperate from this divorce, that's happened to us. Because it's a situation that happens to us. And I think if they realize that, and they know that there are other professionals out there wanting to help them, it's an easier pill to swallow, basically.
Jody, a lot of the clients that come to Split Ready, one of our main goals is to educate them early in the process. so they can know what they're getting into before they start the process. What is your number one piece of advice to someone who's just thinking about, or they know they're going to, but they haven't done anything yet? What would you tell them?
I would really recommend that they reach out and have that consultation with a CDLP. A lot of times, I get the phone calls directly from these, potential divorcing clients, and they really want to know, what's going to happen when I do this divorce, or how can I make sure that my wife and kids can stay in this house? And we can back into numbers to make sure that they see it from a numerical black and white perspective. But it's always, reaching out and making sure that you're getting that expert advice that you need to help you move forward. And I think that's the number one thing they need to do is not be afraid to reach out and ask for help.
And of course,
to get the guidance. So.
And of course, every time you get those calls, you give them my number and say, this is the best CDLP that I have in my bench. Well, Jody, thank you so much. I agree with you. It's something not enough people know about, and it's something more people should know about to either avert disaster or get that right new start. So thanks very much again. This is Getting Split Ready. And with us tonight has been Jody Bruns, the founder of the Divorce Lending Association and creator of the Certified Divorce Lending Professional Certification. Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to learn more about this, where can they go?
They can visit our website directly at divorcelendingassociation.com. They'll find some great articles written there. They can find, other CDLPs in their specific market to reach out to directly.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Getting Split Ready podcast. And we want you to remember that we really do want to get you through your divorce with your finances, your integrity, and hopefully your sanity intact.
And remember to tune in to our podcast. It comes out every Wednesday. You can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. And if you know anyone who's thinking about getting divorced, or if you yourself are considering divorce, take our Split Ready assessment at www.splitready.com. It's a great way to learn whether or not you're split ready. Thanks very much.